Hello YouTube and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Today we're going to make this gorgeous little gift tag, still in the theme of Christmas in July. There's the back. I think it's really cute. We're going to be using the Mountain Air Stamp set in the Magestic Mountain dies. So I'm going to set this aside. Right up there, and I know my whiteboard's kind of a mess. Struggling, not having any more caffeine. It's causing me too many headaches, and I was drinking caffeine when I moved my aunt in May, and so kind of struggling with the really bad migraine coming on. So gift tag, Mountain Air set. Let me show you that as we go on here. This one, this is a double-sided stamp. It's really neat. Wait and see it. I have yet to use these. I've used the little birds before, but we're using this tree, these trees, the mountains, and this little forest scene of the stamp set. Of the dies, we're using the coordinating dies. We're using this one. I'm not using these, and just these two. So a lot of different inks. Let's go over our cardstock. We're going to be using Evening Evergreen here, some watercolor cardstock, and basic white, okay, and several pieces of very vanilla. And I have all the measurements down here at the bottom. For the Evening Evergreen, you'll need a piece that's 3 by 4. Basic white is 2 by 3 1/4. Watercolor paper is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. For vanilla, you are going to cut 2 at 1 1/2 by 3, cut 1 1 1/2 by 2 1/2, and cut 1 that is 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to show you the inks. I'm going to move my messy whiteboard and show you the inks we're going to be using and the stamp blocks. We're going to be using this stamp block, which is about 3 1/2 by 4 1/2 inches. You're going to definitely need a really wide stamp block. We're going to be using the Starry Sky in the Balmy Blue, Early Espresso, Crumb Cake, Old Olive, and ta-da, Evening Evergreen, of course. So first we are going to stamp with our watercolor. And you'll need a paper towel. This does make a bit of a mess, so getting a paper towel here. You'll need a little spritz bottle, which might have other things in them. So this is just you can see my hands from me playing today. Took me about an hour or so to figure out exactly how I wanted this. So you're going to need a little bottle with water, or take a water brush and go over your cardstock really, really well, your water. So I'm spraying this liberally with my water. Then I'm going to set it down. I'm going to get my block ready here. And I'm going to move my stamp blocks for the rest of it, because this is going to make a bit of a mess. I'm just going to try to contain it a bit. So first I'm going to start with the Balmy Blue. I have something on the block I don't want. So I am just stamping up. Oops, it's okay if it's down there. Stamping up the top of the block generously with the Balmy Blue, because it's such a pale color, but that's my sky color. Trying to close it up, and it's like not wanting to go either way. Now for the Starry Sky, brand new ink pad basically, and it's very juicy. So I'm only going to press once, and it's okay that I'm missing some there. Trust me, you don't want to go inking this up too much. Next, while our watercolor paper is getting ready, I am going to spray this, and this is where it gets messy because the ink splatters. You can see all that blue splattering everywhere. So now that I have this wet and this is ready, I'm simply tipping it upside down, holding it, letting that ink sink in there, this time it didn't spread too far. Now it will cling to the block. So I'm just going to peel it this way. You'll see all that color start to run. That one worked out really, really well. Ooh, I missed a step, but it's okay. I'm going to show you with this one. Let's see. I have another one. Okay. Now, since we didn't do our stamping first, I have little envelopes here prepped with supplies. This is our forest scene. And I'm taking the water brush, inking it up in the starry sky. And you only have to do like the middle section of this. I'm going to show you how I stamped this and cut it out. Well, not how I cut it out, but just how I stamped it. But I'm taking that water line because this just reminds me of a forest on the edge of like a lake. So that's what I'm trying to mimic. And when you get up here, that's old olive. It's going to smear the green, and that's okay. I just want to lay down a nice base of this starry sky in this watercolor. And if you're wondering what paper this is actually old. This is some confetti cream, I believe it was called. It's just a scrap I had. So that's what you would do. We're not using that. So this piece now I'm going to set aside and let dry. You can use a embossing gun and dry it that way. I'm going to clean off my block and all this ink everywhere. This is a bit messy, I will be honest with you, but I really like the effect. You can see it's all over me. So set that block aside and let's bring in our stamps and let's do our stamping. I've already die cut my images out, but I just want to show you how I did them. So here is my old olive. That is my evening evergreen. And I'm just going to be using that with a sponge dauber. So let's see if I can, oops, pull this down some more. All right. We need our, not that piece. Our piece that is 2.5 by 1.5, and our piece, one of the 1.5 by 3 inches. And that is for these. So what is cool about these stamps is you can turn them over to the reverse side. Though I did not do this, I'm going to show you. I would stamp, these are old pads. I would stamp off and then stamp the image. Ta-da! Now you can come in, and I think we'll change it up and we'll do the whole tree now in the evening evergreen, which is a newer pad. Oh, that one's not working that way. I guess it's just the other one. Okay. Well, let's change that over. Okay. We're going to stamp this in evening evergreen since I decided. There you go. I didn't like that to begin with. So I will show you on the little one exactly what I did. Sorry, y'all. So like I said, you can do this little one, apparently is the only one. You can stamp it like so, flip it over, and stamp the detailed image on top of it. That's not what we're just using the detailed image, and my old olive needs inked. I need to break down and buy a new pad, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to do like so. In old olive, I did both of them. Then I brought in the evening evergreen and I pounced along the edge of the tree, just darkening up that tree line. And that gave me this. In fact, I can come in some more. You can see the old olive is in here. And I can go around the outside once it's die cut. And this is die cut. Some in the middle. And here's my wee little one. I'm going to go around it, giving it that little bit of shadow effect. Okay, so there's that. Next, I'm going to close up these two pads and put those ink blocks with the stamps away. Because I don't need these colors. I need the I need the old olive still. And that is for your second cut of the 1.5 by 3. And that, my friends, is for this image. Now, I only did this because that's as much as I need, and it doesn't matter what part of these trees you use. I am going to go with the center part and bring this up here. I want it inked up really well. We could even add a little bit of this evening evergreen if you wanted to come in. I need to load it up. I'm not going to pounce off on this because I want that dark green image at the top of these trees. Or maybe I shouldn't have closed it up too early. So now I'm going to turn it sideways so it's easier for me to see. I'm bringing it down right there. And then you've already seen that I die cut this out. But isn't that cool? This is where I took my water pen. I used the dies, and I'll show you, because it doesn't cut the bottom. That actually worked for me. This is a strange die. It just does the treetops, like so. Gotta find where it goes. There we go. That's 3. Or maybe it's that one there. There it is. Okay. So it just does the treetops. The bottom doesn't cut. Really interesting. But now let's get one that I've already done. This is dry. I'm going to come in, since I didn't do it before, and I'm going to bring in this evening evergreen into my tree line, giving it, I like it. It makes me think of the shadows in the forest from the trees. Okay. Now, for sure, we are all done with our evening evergreen, our old olive. So those are getting closed up. Next, we're going to be doing the double stamping. So I need that piece. No. We need our long strip, which is a 5.5 by 1.5. Yeah, 5.5 by 1.5. And this is our Mountain Air Stamp. Now, this one is the detailed. This one is not. So what I want to stamp first is the not detailed. And that, my friends, we are stamping in Crumb Cake. Now, Stampin' Up! Has a new stamp like this in the catalog. It has a waterfall. I think it would be a great partner with this stamp. And they work great if you have the new ink pads. But they will still work with the old ones. I'm just saying the new ink pads work 10 times better. But I don't have, until I need them, not replacing them. There is our mountains. Now I'm going to give this a quick clean off. and flipping it over since I just cleaned it off roughly. Next, we are bringing in the early espresso. Don't need this. So early espresso it is, and this is one of the newer pads, not one of the, this still had the old casing. So I'm not going to step that hard. You can see how well it inked it up. And I'm going to turn this sideways so it's easier for me to line up. And I will tell you, it doesn't line up perfectly, but that's the look of it. And I think it's cool because it makes you get like that shadow effect going on. There you have it. Okay, so let me put this up. And I've got to get my door. I'm sorry. I do apologize. My grandson went and let my little Chihuahua baby out, and she's a tap dancing at my stamp room. And honestly, I'm thinking he's doing this stuff on purpose. So let's get going. Now you're going to see I have my Magestic Mountain dies here. And I simply took Versamark, because I'm not going to do this on camera. I took it and I just went like this with the corner of the pad. Then I used some white embossing powder and embossed the top to look like snow. Since we have all of that done, we no longer need that. What we do need are our pieces. So here is our back of our card base. I mean, our tag. You could put this on a card. Here is one. Each one will be a little different. This is the one that's still drying. This is the one I did early, and this is the one I'm going to use. This is my forest line, and these are my trees for this. Now, you can use any corner type rounder you have. I happen to have this old ticket corner punch from Stamping Up. It is one of my favorites. It is 20 plus, maybe even 25 years old. It is still kicking, and I love the design of it. So I'm going to do the watercolor paper, this evening evergreen paper, and I'm going to use it on the basic white. Now, I simply took my very favorite, extremely old stamps that said to and from, and I pre-stamped this in the Starry Sky. Okay. So next, we are going to start to put our images on here. Now, what I like to do, the reason why I didn't need to do the one we just stamped as long as this one, but the mountains I did, because I like to put this center mountain in the center. So that's what we're going to start doing. And you can figure out how far down or whatever. This looks like a storm is coming on the horizon in the background, and I like that. So I'm going to glue this down. And how I'm going to do it is I'm simply going to add, you could do it either way. I am adding glue to where I want it here. And then I'm going to flip it this way because I know I want my mountains in the thing. And then I'm going to add glue there. Then I'm going to cut it off. So I'm not going to use my good scissors to cut it off. Just going to use these. There we have it. Next, we are putting in our forest line. And before we do this, I am going to fussy cut right to the edge of here on this. I kind of like doing this. It made it look like a shoreline, like the water was lapping up on the beach. There we have it. And I really like this. And all I did to glue this down, I didn't want to use dimensionals. So I like using the center of it. I'm going to get this tree off here and that tree off there. So I am going to add my glue just to the top portion, because the bottom portion being up against the mountains won't be touching the paper. So, oops, let me scoot that up a bit. There we go. And you'll see what I mean. But I didn't want any dimensionals on this, because I'm putting dimensionals on my trees. So give it a quick snip, snip, and there is my forest, my lake scene. Next are the trees, and I need, I've got this weird strip here. I'm going to cut a few snippets of this off and put this on my trees. This, I'm going to tell you, this actually is from a photo frame from a paper pumpkin, and I've been using it. Let's see, we'll go this way. You can hear my grandson. Oh, he's trying to get our three-legged wonder, Miss Lucy, outside. Now, I am bringing these all the way down. I want them off the edge. And you won't really, I guess, see the ticket corner punch on the bottom. Next, you're going to see how pretty this is. It is stunning. I think so anyways. I'm very pleased with it. So next we're going to put dimensionals all over the back of this. 5 will suffice, as it's not being mailed or anything. This is what I will be using. I've got several prep to make for Christmas presents. And what I like to do is make each person their own Christmas tag for their presents. And that way they know. One of them will have their name on them. The rest I don't need to put names on, because their tags are all the same. So that is our tag so far. We are got to add some ribbon. And I have some evening evergreen ribbon. We are going to put a hole punch right here. I wish Stampin' Up! Would sell this crocodile again. I love it. I would buy another. And I am going to get into my current knocking stuff off. Okay, I'm getting into my current ribbon container here. And I am going to grab my evening evergreen ribbon. I'm going to grab my bow maker that my husband made me. I am going to do a double bow with this. Maybe, if I can get it right. And then I'm going to do with some silver cording. Let me cut this off. Very, very pretty. So I have, what is this? About 12 inches of this silver cords from the Elegant Trim package. And I'm making a larger bow of that with my bow maker. I'm going to take this one off. And I have some jute twine I'm going to use to hang this with. And I'm putting a loose knot in this, so when it gets time for Christmas, I can put whatever I want on it. So let's get, I have some glue dots here, and that's what I'm going to use to first adhere the silver cord down. I want that down there like so. Next, I'm going to add another one right there for my evening evergreen bow. And I want to pull this apart here. What was the purpose of making a double bow if you can't see that there's two loopity loops back there? So pretty. Oh my gosh. I like that so much better than the seam binding ribbon I was using earlier. So now I'm going to cut. Oh, come on. And I need to cut it this way and cut my little silver strands off. And that, y'all, in just a second will be finished as soon as we get the backing on. And that didn't take too long at all. Yes, I had some stuff prepped, but I even made ornaments. Last year I did some wooden ornaments. I think I have videos of those that I did. And I just love it. This year I'm making tags. There's that one. This was the first one and I didn't like, I don't know what I was thinking with all that ribbon. This one is using some seam binding ribbon and I distressed the ends a bit. But this is, I think, I don't know if that was Pear Pizzazz or it is Stampin' Up. I just don't know what color it was. But I really like it with the evening evergreen. I like going over the edges here. I wonder if I can do this. Getting those shadows of the tree. You may not like that, but I do. There we have it. So that's my video for today. Gift tag, Christmas tag. You could put a Merry Christmas on there. I just didn't want to cover up this gorgeous scene that I had made. And you will see that this is what Stampin' Up! Used to have an embossing pattern called Winter White, which was almost a vanilla. And I used that on that one. I'm like, oh, I don't like that. So I wanted to go with the white for the snow on my mountains. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, share my video, and help me grow this channel. I love paper crafting. I know it's been a little crazy. I've been trying to get videos done and with getting my aunt settled in and my grandson being home from school. It's been a busy, busy time there. But I'll see you again in my Wonderland. Thanks for visiting and happy crafting, YouTube. Bye-bye now.